Hello, you fine folks out there. Conversations. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah. It's your boy Tara, and I'm sitting here with my lovely, lovely wife,
Miss Toy.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about relationships in this series of maintaining expectations. So, what we're going to cover today is
Dating versus courting.
yes, dating versus courting relationships. Let's dive in. When you meet somebody, no matter where you meet them at, you might not even know that you like them yet or what have you. Y'all might just start a conversation and, just decide to kick it here or there, hang out, grab a bite to eat or whatnot, catch a movie or something. Nothing, platonic it may be. So that's how it starts off usually. You see somebody, you don't, really know how it's going to go. So you're a decent human being. Y'all have conversations over the phone or whatnot. And one thing leads to another. You just never know. But usually in the beginning, you want to be friends with somebody. Make sure y'all have the same interests, things of that nature. So that's called friendship.
Because you never really fully get to know your partner, whether you're dating or courting. So it's always going to be an experience and an adventure when you do have a significant other, spouse, or what have you. But the intentions for courting, the whole purpose of courting is just the clear intention that you guys both share towards marriage. Like, you know that in the end game, this is what you want out of life and out of a relationship. So you're going to go into it kind of different than dating, because dating, you don't even have there's no clear intentions. You just really just filling it up each other's space and just going with the flow of things. But yeah, you really have to make sure that you guys have that clear intention behind the relationship. Do you just want to be friends with benefits? That's nothing. It's just y'all already got it established that this is what it's going to be. But yeah, it's different levels to it for sure. And depending on what you want out of life is what you really make it. But we have to make sure that we put in work with any relationship. You have to put in the work to grow it, to build it, to establish it, if that's what you really want out of life and out of your partnership.
This is true. That's some good information to get to find folks out here. And since I was talking about friendship, I guess I'll go back to friendship. And you can remain friends for an extremely, extremely long time without any benefits or, without any, I guess I just flat out say it, without any sexual or any type of contact like that. And if you want to, get into that, friends with benefits, like she said, make sure y'all are on the same page. One of y'all can't be like, "Ooh, this is the man of my dreams," and the other, and the guy be like, "I love smashing her." So make sure y'all on the same page, and and don't lead people on. That's not good. Be honest. Eye to eye contact when y'all talking, even if y'all are friends. You want to, if you have a friend for a long time, that's a pretty good thing, I would say. So just make sure y'all on the same page, and if you're friends and want to remain friends, and if you do have a significant other, let me go a bit further on this. If you have a friend of the opposite sex and you have a wife or a partner or whatever, it might not work. You know what I mean? Sometimes, because it gets kind of touchy. Oh, hey wife, this is my friend Julie. She's very good looking. We like to hang out and we don't want you around. That's probably not going to work. So I'm just going all over the place and just giving y'all different scenarios. So, but yeah, once you're friends, make sure it's clear. Once you start courting, dating, still be clear. Because
There's levels to this.
Yeah, levels to this.
It's levels to this.
All right. Well, after you've been courting / dating, what's the next step? commitment. So, what do? You start taking them around your family. You know, you start taking them around your friends. You let them know. Well, check him out. I want to know what you think. What's the value? What's the quality of this person? What do you see that I don't see? Because everybody, kind of, I'm not going to say judges people different ways, but they have insight that you might not have, or they might have wisdom that you don't have to see something that, like I said, that you don't see. So start doing that. Find out, go around their family, go around their friends, see who they hang out with,
Most definitely. I totally agree. And just continue to grow yourself personally, individually, before you do try to invite someone into your space or your bubble, because we do have to think about that also, the baggage that we carry, the traumas that we carry on the inside that we may not even fully acknowledge, but it's rubbing off on the other person. Like, you can't love somebody if you don't love yourself. You can't give another human anything that you don't possess inside. So it's really important for you to get to know yourself fully, mentally, spiritually, physically, before you do invite someone else into your bubble and into your space. You have to make sure that you have what you need to have to grow the relationship.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's levels to this.
It is. It really is. And if you skip a level, you might lose the game. So, it's good to, I understand y'all got to, what is this, married in 90 days or married without sight and all this stuff coming on TV. Y'all don't believe that. Don't believe the hype. It might work, and I've heard of people, I met him 2 weeks ago. We just knew it was the right thing to do, and we've been married for 20 years. Good for you. I'm glad it worked. But I think you probably want to, like she said, it's levels to this. Go through the steps. And this brings me to a question. What do you think about living with somebody before you get married, or is it a good idea? Cause
it really just depends. Like, we were just saying, the courting and the dating, like the clear intentions behind the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. In certain circumstances, in certain circumstances, it's kind of a good idea, because you really kind of get an insight view of how this person really is. Are they trifling? Do they wash their ass? It's like, things that you get to see, that side that you wouldn't get to see if y'all wasn't together. So sometimes, like I said, different circumstances, hey, it may be a good thing.
Different strokes, different folks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or at least, every other weekend, kind of ease into it. Because, you don't want to have I'm going to use the term sticker shock once you move in with them. And you be like, oh, my goodness, they are so trifling. Why is this stuff all over the floor? You don't shower every day? It's and if you are the complete opposite, that might turn you off, and it be like, man, I'm out the door. I can't believe I got myself into this. So at least, a day or two here or there, so you can be around them more than you're normally around them. I would say maybe not moving in, but spend a little bit more time to see what you're getting yourself into, because Lord of mercy, you just, you never know. I've seen a lot, and, now I'm with the one that I love the most, Miss Toy. So, let's talk about marriage. You tied the knot? Y'all are in it to win it like Emmett. So, yeah, you made that commitment between you, the God, and the preacher, and your family, whoever was there. They witnessed it. So now you've been married 5 or 6 years. You gotta keep doing what you was doing before and a little bit more. You got to keep it spicy. Do you want to eat potato soup for the rest of your life every day? No. It's just like a meal or anything else in life. Certain things start getting boring after a while. Keep it interesting. Bring
Continue dating. That's the thing. You have to continue the dating process. You still have to keep, because during the dating process, it's still exciting, it's still fresh. You have to kind of bring that aspect back into not back, but into the marriage, because it does. It will get stale if you're not working at it, if you're not pursuing one another like you were pursuing them before the marriage. Yeah, things can take a turn, but that's when and where the work comes in at.
There you go. Conversations. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Thank you for joining us today. This is the Maintaining Expectation series, Relationships, Dating versus Courting.
It's levels to this.
Until next time.